Imagine spending your life building a massive wooden ship in a bone-dry desert, while the society around you gathers to point and laugh. Ancient Mesopotamia. The landscape is vast and arid, and the major rivers are miles away from the construction site, making a shipyard here seem completely irrational to anyone watching. Watch this timeline scroll. The mockery didn't last for a decade or two. It continues all the way to 950 years. That is how long Prophet Nuh, or Noah, patiently preached to his people. Over nearly a millennium, generation after generation firmly rejected his message. They built deep-rooted, arrogant communities, with hearts hardened entirely to divine guidance. Eventually, the final verdict arrived. Allah revealed that no new believers would emerge from this civilization. The centuries of preaching were over. The preparation for judgment had begun. The command to construct the Ark acted as the ultimate physical test of loyalty in the face of total societal rejection. To obey meant ignoring the material reality of the dry sand beneath their feet and trusting an unseen instruction entirely. The sign that judgment had arrived came from an ordinary household object. Water began violently boiling over and bursting out of a dry clay oven. The few believers,
along with pairs of animals, boarded the wooden structure in complete peace, while panic finally gripped the mockers outside. The deluge hit from every direction simultaneously. Apocalyptic rain poured from the heavens, and the earth itself cracked open to release powerful geysers. In minutes, the rising floodwaters swallowed ancient homes and accumulated wealth, and the very villagers who had spent lifetimes laughing at the shipbuilder. The ground they relied upon for stability became the source of their destruction, a total upheaval of the material world they once took for granted. High above the chaos, the massive Ark floated safely, acting as the absolute sanctuary of faith. But even as the waters rose, Prophet Nuh desperately called out to his own son. He pleaded with him to board. The young man refused, standing stubbornly on a rocky cliff face. The Ark represents total submission to the unseen, while the mountain represents a stubborn reliance on physical strength. But as the floodwaters sweep in, the mountain is dwarfed by the sheer scale of the deluge. A colossal, devastating wave crashed completely over the mountain cliff, sweeping the sun into the dark, violent waters below. When total disaster strikes, human logic, accumulated wealth, and physical fortresses offer zero protection without divine salvation. At Allah's command, the storm stopped instantly. The earth swallowed its waters, and golden sunlight broke through the darkness. The Ark finally came to rest atop Mount Judy. The surviving believers stepped out onto a quiet, totally renewed earth. From that small group, human civilization began entirely anew. They were the descendants of those who chose faith over material logic. This event was rigorously preserved as an eternal blueprint for humanity in the Quran, preventing it from fading into ancient mythology. In the floods of life, safety isn't found on the rigid mountains we build, but in the quiet submission required to board the ship.